Hello and welcome to not Truth Be Told, my goodness. Welcome to Strip Down Sunday. We are Soul Evolution Collaborative. And so we are so honored to have this time to spend with you today, to have a little fun and to offer some inspiration and hopefully a new take in a unique Soul Evolution Collaborative kind of way, kind of like we had it, kind of like we like to do it around here. So we have stripped down your Sunday morning to offer you a streamlined experience and hopefully a way that works for you. And so the Soul Evolution Collaborative is dedicated to personal transformation and communal evolution. So two really quick logistics before we jump in. Everything you could ever possibly want to know about the community Soul Evolution Collaborative can be found on our website, soulevolutioncollaborative.org. So feel free to open that up and maybe in another tab while we're talking today, poke around and see all the things that we have going and all some of the new events that we have starting this evening. So it's communities like ours that have missions that really want to bring change to the world. And so if you are in any way able to help continue this mission, we gratefully accept your support and welcome it. Donations can be made at soulevolutioncollaborative.org, and I will put that link in the chat. All right, let's get started. So this month we are talking about a body of wisdom. And so today's topic is Welcome to the Temple. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to start off the month just with kind of a little introduction of this idea of the body and kind of the direction we're going to go this month. So we're going to talk about all things the body. I know this can be difficult depending on your experiences or your relationships with your own body. So everyone just take a deep breath. I'm taking a deep breath too as we talk about this topic and this subject that, often in spiritual communities, we maybe don't talk about as much as we need to. And so this is a really beautiful opportunity for us to focus this month on the body and what that means. So our bodies are the one thing that is uniquely and intimately ours. Like no one else can have the same relationship to your body that you do. It is our own unique experience and relationship. And so often in spiritual circles or in spiritual conversations or this idea of the spiritual path, I don't know about you, but I've had experiences where I've been taught or instructed to deny the body as attempt to transcend this earthly experience. And so the whole focus was on this kind of out there spiritual experience, really denying kind of the here and now, flesh and blood sort of experience of our bodies. And for me, I think nothing can be further from the truth. This idea of trying to transcend our body for some spiritual experience. Nothing can be further from the truth, and honestly, nothing can be more unhelpful on our spiritual path to have this kind of separated idea of the body from the spiritual experience. So rather than engaging in a spirituality that denies the body, our hope is through a different perspective that we begin to move closer to an experience of the divine here and now by fully engaging our bodies, learning more about them, loving them even, and really tuning in our attention to what our bodies have to teach us because they're pretty smart. And you know what? All bodies are good bodies. And these bodies, this living and breathing flesh and blood are the only avenue for which to experience and express the divine. Like this is the only way that the divine expresses itself in this experience through our bodies. And so we have our own unique divine blueprints. I have mine, you have yours. That's unlike anyone else's. It's this unique opportunity, this unique vessel that the divine has to express itself through you. And so by that very nature, our bodies are perfect. And that doesn't mean that we negate the experiences that we may want to improve on certain areas, or be healthy in certain areas, or things of that nature. But it's this idea that we are, as we're showing up here and now, the perfect expression of the divine in the now moment of our physical self. So now most of us have grown up with individual or societal messaging of what our bodies do, what they should do, what they should look like. And yep, the shoulds, there they are. Those shoulds can be so detrimental to our enjoyment of our experience. So for this month, and maybe we'll set a habit of doing this, but at least for this month when we're talking about the body, let's try to lay down all the shoulds. And I know that's easier said than done. But if we can begin to loosen our grip on the shoulds, loosen our grip on the way that we think things need to be or should look like, then we can really kind of come to this conversation with an open mind. So setting all that aside, even for the moment, what things ought to look like, need to look like, and let me let you in on a secret. You ready? There is no ideal body. Contrary to what you may read or see, there is no ideal kind of a mode of a body of what it should look like. I mean, we represent the diversity of the expression of the divine. So of course, knowing that the divine has many expressions, of course, the divine would express itself in this physical realm in many different ways. And we can see that. We can honor that in the diversity of all of our bodies, not just this one little square of a body, and we all try to kind of force ourselves into this one expression of the divine. Oh, that's not how it works. But instead, looking and seeing the variety of expressions of the divine, how it's outpictured in our physical bodies and in the world around us. And so we often talk about creating a world that works for everyone. It's part of our mission of the Centers for Spiritual Living, is creating this world that works for everyone. And that takes on a lot of different meanings. And Kimberly Crenshaw states that to build a world that works for everyone, we must first make the radical decision to love every facet of ourselves. So when we can honor that in ourselves, then we can begin to honor that in others. And we talk a lot about, honoring the truth of ourselves, honoring the truth of others. And sometimes that's kind of, it seems like in that airy-fairy sort of spiritual sense. But if we bring it down and think about to honor our bodies, every aspect of our body, what it looks like, how it moves, the things it needs, the things it doesn't need, if we can honor all the aspects of our own bodies, then that really begins to condition our awareness to see that in others and to see how that's outpictured. So that starts with us. Just like this idea of a world that works for everyone starts within, it starts within and also with respect to how we see and view and judge our bodies. And so this really speaks to the spiritual principle of wholeness. One of the 10 core concepts of religious science and science of mind, this idea that we are all parts of the whole. That there's not one part that's more important and then this one's not as important. But we're all parts of the whole as unique expressions. Also, our physical bodies, our emotional bodies, our spiritual bodies, our mental bodies are all equal parts of the whole. So one is not more important than the other. When we begin to see all of these aspects together, then we can begin to honor them in the ways that they need to be honored. And so this includes our body and our physical expression. Our bodies are not simply these like living machines that are just doing, and they're just these vehicles, and we just move about without any awareness of them. But our bodies aren't simply living machines, but they are the very way that the divine is able to live, to move, to breathe, and to express itself. And we are that. We are the divine, flesh and blood, literally. So this temple, this body temple that we often talk about, is responsive to our thoughts. It's more than just ways that we move about the world, but it's the way that we dynamically express ourselves. And to honor that, to honor the unique expression that all of us bring, is to honor the divine, not only within ourselves, but within others. And so last month we talked about emotions and the importance of allowing emotions and not suppressing them. I think this was just a perfect kind of bridge to our discussion this month on the body. That this is supportive of the body, that idea of allowing ourselves to feel and to express. It's also supportive of our body for its ability to be its fullest expression, and for us, unique to us, not any ideal, not any should be, but unique to us. And so the more that we listen to our bodies, and all of our bodies kind of talk differently, don't they? Because we're all expressing that unique expression. So the more that we can become in tune with the language of our own body, not the language of the body we may see down the street or on the TV or on our Instagrams or on our TikToks, but the more that we can become acquainted with the language of our own body, the more that we can listen to that language and see the wisdom that it has. This divine blueprint is perfect, languaging and all. It's our own unique expression. And so the spiritual path is not to deny the language of the body, but actually part of our spiritual practice is to listen to the language of the body, knowing that there's no separation, knowing that it is all part of the wholeness of our experience. And so maybe that's just stopping and noticing our bodies, noticing maybe that we actually have a body. Sometimes we get so caught up in the day-to-day, we forget we have a body. We forget we have a body that has its needs and a body that needs attention. And so maybe the first step for you may be, and for me too, just remembering, I have a body. I have something that needs attention. I have something that needs love. I need something that needs the freedom to express. And so the call for this week, I like to give a little homework, something for us to kind of put our attention to. The call for this week is to pay attention to your body, to listen to what it's saying, because it's pretty smart. To rest when you're tired, to eat when you're hungry, to drink when you're thirsty, to move in ways that feel good for you in your own unique way, and just to notice the language of the body. So when we begin to understand that language, we begin to understand all the things that it has to teach us. And then we can begin to bridge maybe this gap that we have placed between our body and our spiritual and our emotional experience. And so when we begin to understand what it has to teach us, we can begin to love it for what it has to say and how it is expressing our divine nature. And in essence, become friends with our body. Become friends. And maybe for some of us, that's a friendship we've never started. So our opportunity this month is going to be to learn more about the body, not just the ins and outs and scientific stuff, but more importantly, this idea that our bodies are connected to our expression, that our bodies are not separate from our spiritual expression, our bodies are not separate from the divine, but instead it is the house, it is the part that is the conduit that we can express this blueprint of the divine, express all the ways that this one power and presence makes itself known. And it does it through us. And so this month, we're going to become friends with the body and see how the adventure unfolds.